Jamison, you say a prayer to the god of luck. You flip a coin.
Yes.
Behind you.
Yes.
And you hear a familiar voice. That of your companion, Mal, Monemvathias.
My buddy!
And she's upset that you assume because you have flipped this coin.
Well, what else is new?
Right.
That's how I knew it was familiar.
Right. So you flip the coin and you hear her say, I'm just so tired of it. And then you hear another familiar voice. You turn behind where you flipped these coins, this coin behind you, and you see Mal, Monemvathias, purple tiefling in the flesh, bright golden eyes that seem to know a secret. She holds herself with great poise. She is wrapped in her brother's white and cloak. With it's like a white fur cloak with red painted in spirals and keys on it. And across from her, you see Brakaaw Jacktheratrix. No shirt, no shoes.
No service.
Gives no shit.
Wait, no problem.
Yeah, he gives no shit. He is arguing with Mal. They are arguing intently over something that you're not quite sure what it is. But you're a little confused. You're a little high, so you go along with it. But your two loved ones, who you have been dwelling on this bitter. I mean, you don't even know where they went. You see them arguing, and it fills you with a certain emotion.
That emotion is
rage.
Yeah, unbridled rage.
You know, it's rage, but it's also but it's more directed at himself.
Right. You see. You too see Jamison begin to stare off towards two of the beds, and he grows red with anger.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
You all right there, bud?
I think he's having a reaction to the grass.
No, it's not a reaction to the grass. It's a reaction to himself.
Yeah. So you hear a voice come from one of the other chairs at the desk, and it says, "Son, I believe you are correct." And you turn and you see what looks to be Ludovico sitting next to Ludovico, but he has much darker. So Ludovico already has kind of dark skin. This other figure's skin has a tinge of dark purple to it.
Ooh.
Maybe he looks like maybe he is a half-drow. And he says, "Yes, I believe it is the drugs." Ludo, you turn and you recognize this figure.
Okay,
Half-drow, the most powerful race.
Yeah.
I would just stare at him, just like this.
Yeah. This is the first time you've ever done this. You didn't see it coming. You just stare.
Oh, this is
wide-eyed. Yeah, kind of looking right to left, like your insight check.
Are you guys seeing this? Is this?
Whim. You don't see anything, but you know what he probably sees.
Yeah.
He probably sees this figure in a dark cloak that looks kind of like him, but with darker skin, sitting right next to him, looking you in the eye, kind of looking at your shirt.
Yep.
You see him. You see him. You turn. You see Mal and Brakaaw. You also see Lily sitting next to you.
Yeah.
This is unfortunate now. I just made this character. I don't know how to react.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's a very, very cool reaction. Whim, it's not normal for you to be able to see other people's hallucinations as you all share aromatic grass.
Oh, that's weird. I thought I was seeing them. I guess
you do see
with other people.
Yeah, you are seeing their illusions, and they are seeing yours.
It's not an illusion. It's real. They're right there.
They are. What do you want to do, Jameson?
I want to wave at them and see if they react to me.
Okay, you wave at them, and they turn and look at you.
Can you hear me?
Mal says, "Yes, we can hear you."
Well, then shut the fuck up.
She looks wide-eyed and steps back. Brakaaw laughs, but crosses his arms and looks at you.
Now you're both gonna have to sit down now and swear to let me speak my piece, because it's been a long road, and I don't know that I can deal with being interrupted without, burning you two from the face of the earth as much as I love you.
Mal sits on one of the beds, and she puts her hands in her lap. Brakaaw watches her sit, and not to be outdone, sits as well.
I appreciate that. If you can remain civil, no portal tomfoolery. I know we have a problem with that in this group.
I'm not the one who needs to be remain civil.
Well, many would argue otherwise, but...
Yeah, many like him and his worthless brother.
Everyone's got a worthless brother.
Brakaaw stands when she calls his brother worthless. And he's like, "I'm not worthless, you're worthless. You're the worthless one. You and your brother are worthless."
I do remember Brakaaw's brother being pretty worthless.
Yeah.
What little I remember of him, he was no bowman, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever knew Brakaaw's brother, but I'm sure he probably was worthless.
Yeah, Jamison, as Brakaaw stands and calls her brother worthless, Mal stands as well and launches an eldritch blast at Brakaaw.
All right, I'm slamming my staff down on the floor and I'm going, "Pull your shite together!"
All right, you do. And go ahead.
Does Whimsy, I guess Whimsy is Jamison, like, interacting with these folks like this?
Yes. Whim sees Jamison interacting like this.
But I'm assuming I do not see.
No, Ludovico, you see it too. You are all sharing in this strange...
we're all seeing this together.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Ludo, they can see your
friends. Sometimes they fight.
Yeah.
What's happening right now? Ludovico's freaked out.
Yeah, you turn to the man next to you and he says, "It looks to be a family quarrel. Maybe we should, And he scoots his chair back like an inch.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay, yeah, you do.
So as Jameson's banging his staff on the ground and yelling at them to pull their shite together,
yes.
Some branches, I think, sprout out from... I'm assuming the wooden floor,
yes.
In something similar to a, grasping vine?
Yes. You slam your staff on the ground, and the wood from the floor and the chairs, the floor and the bed frames that these beds are sitting on, they all warp, and they come out with these big, wide, fat, wooden Mickey Mouse gloves, like very gentle, blunt paws that couldn't get up to trouble, and they wrap around the two and they force them to sit. You see Brakaaw struggling, rolling athletics, constantly grappling with this. He can't get out.
Mm-hmm. And Mal just doesn't because she knows she's going to crit fail.
Yes. Yeah. Mal just sits there. Mal's eyes, they glare angrily at Brakaaw, but then they turn back to Jamison with more understanding.
So as I said, you'll hear me speak my piece, and that will be the end of it. If you can move on from there, we're done. When I was in my middle years, I lost a lot of people. People who loved each other fiercely and shared common goals. It was my fault and theirs too. They were vain and prideful. None would yield to the other. And I was a coward. I thought it was priestly to stay above the conflict, to let them sort their own issues out. But what good is a shepherd when all his sheep have gone? What saintly service did I render, letting division tear the world down around me? I blamed my God and fate itself. If that was meant to be, who am I to change it? But I was there, and I know I could have made a difference. When you two disappeared into that black abyss, I faced my failure all over again. Traveling with this company had given me purpose and meaning, and I had let it slip through my fingers. I could have stopped you, Mal. But I didn't. The very bonds that are holding you now, I have the power to do then. But I spent the last week or month thinking about what to say if I had a chance, and I high as hell, and I do now. So you will listen.
So you see, Brakaaw he stops struggling. He's now looking at you, Jamison, but he looks angry. Mal, she is giving you the time, but you're not quite sure she's listening.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to pardon me for being a touch blue, but for Cuthbert's sake, you're grown adults with the opportunity to stop a catastrophe that will affect the very planes of existence. Mal, you're perhaps the smartest lassie I know, with great power to boot. Why then can you not see past your own nose? We've all lost people, some of us more than others. And if there's an opportunity to bring them back, well, damn Skippy, let's explore it. But not on your own, and the cost must be measured. I think that's at least fair. I know it's fair.
So, as he addresses Mal, you all see a number of figures begin to apparate out of smoke in the air. This red, green, yellow smoke creates 6 dwarves who all wear similar robes to Jamison. Many of them are young. They have naive faces. They look as though they have their bags packed and their wagon hitched, and they're about to go on an expedition. They all hold hands around each other and stand around Mal. Brakaaw looks at you, Jamison, and he says, none of that applies to me. She's the bitch.
Well, Brakaaw, you could carry the world itself upon your shoulders, but when it comes time to lift your friends up, you take your hand away. Those magic boots have gotten us out of a scrape or two, but it also seems they make you jump to conclusions. I know you've been training your sneak attacks, but I wasn't expecting one against the group. You know the strong are meant to protect the weak, and right now the whole world is looking weak to me. What do you see? I used to think that I was here to help in the sense that if, well, you needed help, here I am. But now that I am here to help as in, I will be helping, and you will be helped. If we're to continue to chase dead pirates and their ships and orbs and fuck rocks and destroy Leviathan and save the shamrock-shaken plains themselves, we must work together. My gentle suggestion, should you be unable to handle your business yourselves in the future, is that I will act as an arbiter. I will hear your complaints and your reasons, and I will pass judgment, though you must agree to abide by it. My sworn allegiance is to common sense, the preservation of the safety of the plains and their inhabitants, and to Tiger Mafia, LLC. I'll give you the chance to settle the affairs between the two of you, but if you endanger what I myself hold dear, I will step in and hand down a righteous judgment, as is my duty and my obligation. I will not fail this party again. What say ye?
Okay, so, as you ask Brakaaw what he sees in the world, a number of your pilgrimage companions appear, holding hands around Brakaaw. These are the older pilgrims, the ones that you had still so much more to learn from. Their weathered faces and their worn muscles, their wrinkled eyes, they all grasp hands in a circle around Brakaaw. Jamison explains the Great Potato Civil War.
Yeah.
He explains that he is the sole survivor of the pilgrimage of understanding sayings to save yourselves. And he wants nothing more than to unite his new family in a way to prevent what happened to his old family. Mal and Brakaaw sit there, Mal quietly looking at the dwarves around her, the young faces that she sees. She has some pity for them. She understands that they were taken from their families at young ages, and she has experienced something like that. Brakaaw looks at the faces of the aged around him, and he says, "You're all weak. You're weak like Joncho. All of you are old. I'm strong. I won't be weak. I'll save my family." He stands up and he pushes the dwarves aside. And he says, "It'll be by my hand that I make this world right. and I will kill a god. And then you see a dagger appear in his back, and a second, and a third, and he coughs blood, and you see a fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and you see he turns and he falls. He looks at Mal in the eyes and falls to the ground. You see 7 daggers in his back. They all are inlaid with pearl handle, and they are covered, the blades and the handles both are covered with looks like barnacles, and there is water, salt water, pouring out from the wounds in his back. He is unresponsive, dead, and he turns to smoke and evaporates. Anomaly stands up, and she says, if he's not working with you, she looks at you, but then she turns, and she says, I have far more important business to attend to. I must revive a god. And a doorway appears in front of her, and she opens it. A bright light exits the doorway and flies into her body. She falls on her back, dead, her eyes glowing with purple spiral energy, and she turns into smoke and evaporates. All of the dwarves evaporate. Whim, you turn to Lily, and she sits there. Ludo, you turn to your companion. He sits there as well. You all watch Jamison. Kevin, what would Jamison do?
Again, I think he would weep. This is representation of his greatest failure. He had a chance to stop Mal and stop all of this, and again he failed.
Right. Jamison falls to the floor and begins to weep. Ludo, you're not really sure what to say. Whichever one of you would like to interact with whoever you want first. Jamison is at a loss for words, and he looks broken.
I'm gonna come up to him, and I'm gonna, put my hand on his shoulder, on his back, and I'm gonna say, friend, looks like you got some pain behind those eyes.
Jamison looks up and he uses thaumaturgy to make his eyes really big and wet. He doesn't even know he's doing it, but it's just like...
I'm gonna say, listen, I